Now back to Inside West Virginia Politics with Mark Curtis.
And we welcome you back to Inside West Virginia Politics, where our guest is State Senator Richard Ojeda, Democrat, Logan County. More importantly, right now, the Democratic nominee for the 3rd Congressional District here in West Virginia, the open seat. Evan Jenkins left to run for Senate and is now on the Supreme Court, so the seat is vacant. This is one Democrats nationwide really think they can win back and on their course to try to take back the majority in the House of Representatives. How do you see that going?
Well, I think it's going pretty well. I mean, obviously, this is going to be a fight to the finish, but we're ready. You know, we've got people out there knocking on doors. We've made make an average of 6,000 phone calls a week, knocking on over 20,000 doors. And I think people are fired up. We feel pretty good.
And you criticized Nancy Pelosi in one of your ads, too. So you're not really aligned with the mainstream Democratic Party in this nation or Washington, are you?
No, I'm not. I think that, you know, I'm not a person I'm not a far to the left guy. I believe I'm pretty much in the center. And I think I can work with both sides.
Let's talk about one issue that you have challenged your opponent on, Carol Miller. She addressed it in the earlier segments of our show about what, if any, stock she holds in McKesson, which is a big pharmaceutical company, which is one of those the state's trying to settle with for dumping millions of pills in West Virginia.
Well, I mean, absolutely. I mean, she owns stock in McKesson. That's one of the biggest companies that have come into our state and have thrown their Oxycontin and hydrocodone on our people like candy. There's not one family that has been, not hit directly with this problem. And, you know, she is enjoying profit from that. That's a fact. It's on her disclosure form. I mean, you're talking about a person that says that she's going to fight the opioid epidemic, but she benefits from it, and that's unacceptable.
But in fairness, a lot of people, probably myself and a lot of our viewers included, you have 401k accounts, mutual funds for retirements. They host a whole platitude of stocks. Right. And for all I know, I own a little McKesson or Cardinal, or a lot of people really don't know. Can she really be blamed for that if that's how her holdings are?
Absolutely, I think so. Plus, once again, it's big enough for her to lift it on her disclosure statement. I think that it's more than what she wants people to see.
What would you like to see her do? Sell it off?
I don't think that absolutely. I think that would be something that should be done. But point blank, if you're going to stand up and you're going to say you're going to fight the opioid epidemic, you should have no ties at all to any of those companies. This is personal to every family across West Virginia, the state of West Virginia.
All right, let's talk about the broader issue of health care, because Republicans again are talking, if they keep their majority in the House and Senate and D.C., they want to try and repeal Obamacare again. Now they're saying they can do it and keep pre-existing condition coverage. Where do you stand on this issue?
Well, I think that repealing is unacceptable. We know that millions of people will go without coverage. I speak about the public option. A public option would make health care something that would make the health care organizations have to compete. And that's what, if that happened, they would have to compete with Medicare. They would have to lower their premiums, offer better benefits. And if they don't, it's on them. But they will, because if they don't, they go out of business.
Now, do you support a single payer system or just the public option?
Well, I support the public option. I'm not against a single payer system, but I don't know if it's something that could actually follow through.
The big question everybody has is, how do you pay for it?
How do you pay for it? Exactly. So a public option, I think, is something that we could do now. And if later we could transition over, then I don't have an issue. But public option is something that I believe we could do now.
All right, let's talk more about the opioid crisis. The president signed this massive bill that had bipartisan support in Congress. What would you do differently? What are we not doing that we still need to address on the opioid issue, particularly in this state, which is the hardest hit?
Well, I think recovery is the main piece. Obviously, I'm excited when anybody is wanting to get together and work to try to combat this horrible situation that's fallen upon us. But 30 days of jail is not rehab. We need recovery. We have 75 beds in the 3rd Congressional District. We've got to do better for our people here, because our people are struggling, and this is literally ground zero, and we know that because of the opioids that has been thrown onto our people.
Yeah, it's fair to say, and I've covered the legislature for several years here now, that you have rather sharp elbows inside the Capitol. You've gotten a lot of attention, sometimes being a contrarian to your own party. I mean, how do you fit in Washington like that?
I think that people know that I can work with anybody. But once again, if you're going to stand up and you're going to say that you are going to fight the opioid epidemic, but you're sitting here taking big money from Big Pharma and basically giving your votes to them, then you're not doing what you're supposed to be doing. And I'm not going to sit quiet and let that happen. If you work with me, I'll work with anybody. I don't have a problem with that. But I'm not going to let people dupe the people.
All right, State Senator Richard Ojeda, the Democratic nominee for the 3rd Congressional seat here in West Virginia. We wish you the best. We'll be talking to you on election night. We need to remind voters that early voting is still taking place across West Virginia through next Saturday, November 3rd. So get out there and vote, either early voting or on Election Day, November 6th. Thanks for watching this week on Inside West Virginia Politics.